Hi guys, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. We're here with our female human noble Eurydice Cousland, and last time we cleared out the Soldier's Peak area so that we'll have a new base. So right now I'm going to go out and see if I can get the starfang random encounter to trigger so that we can get the metal and make starfang. And then after that I think we'll come back and talk to everybody a little bit. Let's take Alistair.
Yes.
Shale.
Yes.
We haven't
Of
taken
course.
him out in a while. So let's take him too. Sometimes if you head back to Honleith, it'll trigger, so we'll give that a shot. Nope. This this is the Lord of the Rings encounter. It's actually pretty difficult, so hopefully we won't die.
Behind you!
You must win.
Looks like Alistair is about to die, so... Come on, Carol. We can do it. Maybe. Oh, good grief. Woo! Yeah, that one's not easy. Okay, let's see. Some chainmail. A tattered note. This is a bloodstained note. The only words that are legible read, "Why, oh why, didn't we just take the flying eagles?" That's a good question. Okay. Well, it looks like a couple people leveled up, so we might as well just go ahead and do that while we're here. Okay. It's gonna start needing cunning if we're gonna keep giving him combat tactics, but for now we will just max this out. Let's see. Ooh, shield wall. That. And we'll level up Roland too. Oh my goodness. Whew. He definitely needs more con. Alright, yeah, let's go ahead and give him War Cry, because that's a useful. Let's see. Yeah, it looks pretty good for now.
Huh.
Yes? What can I do for you?
Sometimes he has different things, like he'll have special conversations the first, like when you enter a new area, but it doesn't look like he has one for
No harm
Honleith,
done.
so Yes, we will. Let's head back up here and see the base now that it's been fixed. All spiffy now.
Welcome back, Warden. As you can see, we've been busy. Cleaned the place up a bit. Even my brother Mikhail came out of hiding. Never will you find a finer smith. Also, got some goods stored here that might interest you. Buy them now before my cousins move it all someplace else.
Did you tell your family about Sophia?
I thought about it, but I figured that it's not a bad thing to believe that you come from a line of lions. Even if the truth is a touch more complicated. Our family's belief that we were wronged. It gave us strength to make something of ourselves.
What do you think of her?
King Ireland sounded like a right nasty piece of work. Sophia was branded a traitor. She consorted with blood mages. But in spite of it all, I think she was a hero.
Keep looks a lot different.
We've a big family. When you were away, we all pitched in. Hard to believe there were undead, demons, and worse around here, right?
Any trouble with Eurydice?
Haven't heard a peep from him. Seems to like keeping to himself. But I keep telling the children to stay away from the tower.
That's probably for the best. Let's see what kind of wares you got.
Certainly.
Got some pretty decent stuff. Recipes. Ooh, toxic extract. And his flasks are a bit cheaper than Bodon's too, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy them. As you can see, my money has gone up by a lot. That is because I sold the Reaper's Cudgel to Bodon, and it was worth like 336 gold or something. It's pretty crazy. But once you have it, I mean, it's a decent weapon, but the best thing is to just sell it and get the money for it. This is the party storage chest.
Going.
Anything you put in here that has the capability to be upgraded, if you put it in here and then you leave and you come back, its tier should have changed to the next tier, but it can also go down as well as up. So it's like once you get it to the tier you want it, you might want to just take it because it could go down the next time. Bit of a juggling act, but it's cool for when you're trying to level stuff up. Go over and talk to Mikhail. Hello, dog.
You? You're the warden? My family owes you. Any weapons I make, I will sell you for a discount.
Nice. You're Levy's brother? Not much of a family resemblance.
I have a family full of traders living a soft life, getting fat. I chose to learn the way of metal and stone. It keeps me strong.
Cool. You're a weaponsmith then?
Indeed. I have spent my life studying steel, dragonbone, and more. I learned all I could in human lands, and exiled dwarves taught me more. Give me the finest metals and materials, and I can make wonders for you.
Can I see your wares? It's one of the places where you can get Grey Warden helmets, which are nice. Pretty normal stuff, though. Okay. So, but once we do get the Star Metal random encounter, you bring it back to him and he will make starfang for you. So I guess we'll try a couple more times and see if we get it. I might cut out the travel time in between though, just to kind of speed things up a bit. Because who knows how many times this may take. Ah, here it is, finally.
How did a child survive that? The crater is still smoking. It's a boy. 5 fingers, 5 toes. That's all that matters to me. The Maker has answered our prayers. Let's go home, Marta, and raise the tyke as our own.
Awesome. So definitely make sure you go in here and grab this.
And I'm off.
Meteor metal ore. And you gotta love the Superman reference here. It's pretty funny. But this one popped as I was going from Flemeth's hut to Honleith. I didn't travel to anywhere we hadn't been yet, so...
Yes.
So now we'll go back to the peak and have Mikhail make the sword for us. We'll probably give it to Alistair once he is strong enough to wield it, since he's going to be coming with us on most of our adventures, and we're using daggers, so the sword isn't really going to be much use to us.
Warden?
Look what I found! Strange metal in a crater.
This is star metal. If you give this to me, I will craft for you a thing of legend.
Gonna go ahead and go with the longsword since we're gonna be giving it to Alistair. But if we were a two-handed warrior, or like Sten or Ogren were gonna be our main people, then we could make it a two-handed sword. How much will it cost?
Nothing. My family owes you much.
Cool. Longsword, please.
And so it shall be. It is done.
Pretty.
I call this blade Starfang. May it serve you well. I must rest after my exertions. Warden?
Okay. Let's see if he's strong enough. I doubt it, though. 31 strength. Yep, not quite. We'll get him there, though. So, I'm going to go ahead and go back to camp, and we're going to talk to everybody some more. I'm going to try and get the romantic relationship started with Alistair, and get to know some of the companions a little more. Like to raise Sten's approval a bit so we can get started on his personal quest, since we'll be going to Lake Hallenhead next.
I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished.
And I put the Warden Commander armor on.
Well, that's what I
Alistair
heard
here.
anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Don't listen to Alistair. He is full of rubbish.
Hey!
Let's start with Zephyron.
Here I am.
Answer some questions.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Where did you want to leave the crows exactly?
Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin after all is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
What would you rather do?
Now that you mention it, I am not entirely certain. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
It sounds awful.
Oh, I don't know about that. The crows who are actually good enough to survive come to enjoy some of the benefits. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
This will start to push you towards the romance with him. So we're just going to kind of avoid that since we're going for Alistair. I think I understand.
As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
I'm happy to have you along.
And here I am, happy to be had. Isn't it wonderful how things work out that way? Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Good amount of approval. Let's see. Let's see where he's at. Neutral, but he's not too far away. Hi, Liliana.
Yes? Well, here I am.
What was life like in the Chantry Cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Yeah, they tend to be a bit self-righteous.
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
I prefer your ideas to the ideas of the Chantry.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
Talk to her a bit more.
Yes? Well, here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in Lothering's Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
Okay, so Liliana is notorious for being a skilled ninja-mancer, meaning you could easily start a romance with her without even realizing it. Hopefully, I've got enough mods to fix everything, but there's always a chance that she'll think we're in a relationship when we're not, but just be very careful with what you pick. Like, I'm not gonna pick this because it could start something. A beautiful, charming woman like yourself. So I'm gonna go, they don't teach you how to fight in the cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
So your skills were learned before your time in the Chantry.
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Yes? What can I do for you?
I want to ask you a little more about what happened.
Of course.
Let's see, what happened to you in the battle?
Once I sent your mother and you after your father, I stayed with the rest of our men to hold the doors for as long as we could. We knew we would not be able to hold them for long, so when Howe's men rammed them open, we fought. I ended up being wounded and knocked unconscious.
Were many men killed?
Many. The survivors were dragged outside to the courtyard, I gather. That's where I opened my eyes. We were all prisoners.
Go on.
Howe was parading himself before us, giving a speech on how much he had waited for this and how he deserved it. If anyone was unconscious or wounded, or felt too much pain to pay attention, they would hit them and throw cold water on them to make them listen.
What did he say?
I don't remember much of what he said, just what I told you. I was bleeding from an open wound in my head. I felt dizzy. Everything was a blur. I was one of those who got hit and dragged around, as if more punches could make me focus.
That's horrible.
Others suffered a worse fate. Men who were too badly wounded to move were killed on the spot. The servants and children that were still alive were forced to gather the corpses and burn them. I don't have the strength to keep talking about this now, my lady. Please forgive me.
Of course, you should rest.
Thank you.
I do want to ask him
Yes?
about my parents.
What can I do for you?
So,
Of course.
what happened to my parents?
My lady, your mother did not survive. I am so very sorry. I do not wish to burden you any further with this. Both your parents died that day.
I need to know. Just tell me everything.
I must admit, I cannot give you many details. They had already dragged me outside, and I was half conscious, but I saw soldiers dragging your parents' bodies out. The Jarl looked at them briefly, gave a sign. The servants took them and put them next to the rest of the bodies. They were burnt along with the rest.
Thanks. I had to know.
I wish things were different. The town and Towner loved you, and I'm sure they'd be relieved that you were saved by their sacrifice. Yes? What can I do for you? Of course.
What about the other people in the castle?
This is hard for me. I have never seen such little mercy towards the fallen. When we were dragged outside, I regained consciousness and saw many wounded, but nobody was allowed to tend to them. The Jarl's general pointed at the ones that needed desperate help and made the soldiers kill them mercilessly. They killed men, women, and children alike.
No shock
Many
there.
of the surviving women were brutally beaten and raped by the soldiers.
Ugh.
Men were forced to entertain the troops. It was horrible, utterly horrible. There was no dignity for anybody. Everybody was abused. People who were still able to walk, servants, they were forced to loot and burn the bodies of the dead. People they knew, friends and family.
This must be hard for you.
I was outraged. I was tied down alongside my companions. My head was hurting, and I couldn't focus. Everything was flashing before me. The screams, that's what I remember the most. The screams of the women.
If we survive this blight, I'll help you hunt him down. If not before.
I want him handed to the authorities, or his head on a pike. I don't really care which one, as long as he pays for what he's done.
Head on a pike.
For now, we have another task ahead. We should try to rest before we continue with it tomorrow. Yes? What can I do for you? Of course.
What about Nan?
My lady, I am afraid Nan met the same demise as your family. I did not see her myself, but I do not think she could have been able to survive.
Maybe she did. I mean, we didn't see her, so anything's possible.
I guess anything is possible. I do not wish to crush your hopes. Maybe she survived indeed. You know, yes, maybe you are right. We should always hope for the best.
Okay, let's talk to Sten a bit.
Yes.
Let's see. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the question?
The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
So he's your king?
Kunari have no kings.
What do you have?
Little patience for endless questions.
He's so snarky. I love it. Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
And the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed?
I was.
That is your answer.
And why would the Kunari care?
Why do you?
I'm a Grey Warden. It's my job.
Exactly. You don't ask, nor do I. The Arishok sends me and I go.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you gonna do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Well, you can stay with us.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the darkspawn waiting.
Okay.
As you wish. Yes,
What are we doing in that cage?
sitting, as you observed.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Are you gonna answer my question?
I did. Parshera. Was there anything else?
So bad. In here, I wanted to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak then.
That's where the area triggered dialogues that you can get show up, but we haven't got any of those yet, so there's nothing here. But I will try to get all of them.
Then I suggest we move on. I am hardly surprised.
You find Ferelden very strange?
To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wish to be merchants. The merchants dream of being nobles, and the nobles become warriors. No one is content to be who they are.
Don't the Kanar ever want to change their lot in life?
What does that accomplish? The farmer who buys a shop is never a merchant. He is always a farmer turned merchant. He carries his old life with him as a turtle carries its shell.
That makes the turtle stronger.
Does it? It's also his weakness. If he stumbles and falls over, it pins him on his back. It is better to armor yourself with no more than what you need. One life, one duty.
I suppose that's true.
Shall we move on?
Sound a bit homesick?
Perhaps. It's strange to be in a crowd and hear a language that is not your own. To see faces that are and aren't like yours. I miss the smells of Saharon. Tea and incense and the sea. Ferelden smells of wet dogs.
You left out rotting garbage.
True. I was trying to forget that part. Shall we move on?
Is there anything you do like about Ferelden?
There is interesting food here. You have a thing. It doesn't have a word in the Kunari tongue. Little baked things like bread, but sweet and crumbly.
Cookies?
Yes. We have no such things in our lands. This should be remedied.
I'll keep that in mind.
Shall we move on?
Yep.
As you wish.
Ah, there we go. Wow, that went fast. He's actually very easy to get approval with if you are careful with what you say. So we should be able to get his personal quest started now.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected.
Thanks, I guess? Okay,
You're welcome.
right. So will you tell me now why you were caged?
I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
You saying you put yourself in that cage?
I know that my failures were my own. I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
That sounds like what happened to me at Ostagar.
I heard the stories of Ostagar. Your kith stood their ground when others fled. No one can do more than that. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
What did you do?
I searched for it, and when that failed I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
Did they know where it was?
They said they found me with nothing.
Did you believe them?
I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
That's terrible.
I know I cannot justify what I have done. My honor is forfeit. That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Couldn't you search for it?
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now.
Well, where did you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Calenhad.
Don't worry, we'll find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
Okay, we got the Sword of the Beresad quest, which is good. So when we go to Lake Calenhad, we can bring him along and talk to the scavenger guy. Go talk to Shale a little bit. I would have expected golems to be different.
Different? Different than what? Different than a statue? Different than a log? Should I talk in a monotone? Yes, master, I exist to serve the master. I shall kill for the master and only for the master. Perhaps it expected me to have a booming voice. Recite limericks. I can recite limericks, if it likes.
She cracks me up. Are they dirty limericks?
Mostly they involve slaughtering pigeons in creative and invasive manners.
Of course they do.
I have never met another golem. I have no idea what one might be like, or why I wouldn't be like them. Why? Has it met other golems? Did they not sound as I do?
You are my first. Being different isn't so bad.
Did I say it was bad? Huh. It thinks I hang on its every word, waiting for approval. I don't know what other golems might be like, but I am already superior by virtue of my free will.
True.
This is a good thing.
I agree. Being a golem would be handy.
Imagine the benefits. No need to eat or sleep or perform other functions. Walk underwater, crush the heads of every opponent. The possibilities are limitless. Barring the occasional 30 years or so of paralysis, there's little to compare. Now stop talking so much. The wagging of its moist little tongue is distracting.
Oh.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them.
That's great. Thanks, Shale.
Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings?
My father was the Terran of High Ever.
Oh, then that must be it. I knew there had to be some reason, it being a human and all. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless.
Oh, we wouldn't want that.
Indeed. Can it imagine the horror? Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
Oh, goodness. She is great.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Did you grow up in the Kukari Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
You can if you want.
Oh, what luck. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time, I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
But you kept going back?
Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring, that sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Start talking to Alistair.
What do you need? Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where are the nearest ones?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now that there's just the two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
Do we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't
Sir
know how
Gilmore's
to do the
interested.
joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left? Just said, I don't want to deal with it.
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, that's good. I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Let's ask him something.
Ask away.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Ha ha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
What skills might those be?
Well, it wasn't an easy life, you know. I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but I'm not exactly the Chantry type. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking. What do you need? Ask away.
So you said this Arl Eamon raised you?
Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
That would explain the breath as well.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on the cold, hard ground, isn't it? Are you having strange dreams?
Only ones where we're making mad love in my tent.
I think I completely lost my chain of thought. Oh, there it is. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arl Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
But you blamed him then, I take it?
I was young and resentful and not very pious. Of course I blamed him. I remember screaming at him like a little child. Well, I was a child, so I doubt it was surprise. Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
It's awful.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Ooh. Got a bump.
What do you need?
Oh, we're almost there.
Ask away.
Sometimes You get that bump to the minor whatever it is, but they just need like another point or two for their approval to actually change. So I think we're gonna get grab a gift for most everyone and just kind of toss it at them. That is Alistair. He likes kind of occult things. It's interesting. It's Morrigan, Liliana. Shale's actually okay right now since she got 1 degree higher with us, so I'm gonna hold off on her for now. Gotta give something to Roland, and he doesn't have any of his own gifts that I know of that come with the mod, so I'm just gonna give him some of the like less used ones because there's just really no one else there specifically for, like the pound cake, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that to him. I don't think I have anything for Zeron yet. And I don't have anything for Sten either, so we are just going to go with that for now. Okay, Alistair, this is for you.
I could get used to this, you know.
Ah, now he's at warm, so we're good. Morrigan, yep, she's almost there too.
I am grateful. 'Tis thoughtful indeed.
She's still in neutral territory. She's got to be close though. Yeah, I think she just needs a couple more points. Sten is, wow, he moved up fast. We're definitely not gonna give him any gifts right now. Yeah, Liliana needs.
That's a wonderful thought. I don't know what to say.
Puppy is full friendly love. Yeah, he's still neutral. Have a cake.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you very much.
Yes, and covered with Orpheus's drool. So, you know, it's extra special. Let's see. Oh, looks like she moved up. See if her disposition has changed enough to let us do the shape changer thing.
I await your command.
It has. Yay!
So, full of questions, are you?
Can you teach others to become shape changers?
I cannot teach you, no. But any other mages that cared to learn, yes, I could do that. Send whoever you wish my way, and I shall teach them what I can in the camp, provided they possess the will to even make the attempt.
Awesome. Well, we don't have any other mages right now, so thanks though. Hello.
Something on your mind?
So let's go ahead and get the romance started. Has anyone ever told you how handsome you are?
Not unless they were asking me for a favor. Well, there was that one time in Denerim that those women were not like you. Why? Is this your way of telling me you think I'm handsome?
You know you're handsome, Alistair.
Maybe. It doesn't hurt to have a pretty girl say that, though. Beats being run through with a sword any day. So, is this the part where I get to say the same?
Not unless you don't think so.
Oh, I think so. I'll just spring it on you when it's a surprise.
That should have started us on the path of love.
At your service.
Yep, at your service. Yep, now we're at interested, so yay. It's weird that she still shows neutral instead of warm, but It's like Liliana and Zevron and Roland are the only ones that are still at neutral. I would like to get Liliana at least up to the next level, because that way
Yes.
we can start her personal quest, which is basically triggered. You have to leave camp, and then you have to come back to camp and talk to her, and then you have to leave again, and there'll be a random encounter which will start her personal quest. Let's see. Don't look like I have anything for her new. Go ahead and give that to Morgan. If you need quick gifts, the best place to get them is Bodon.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
Do you hear any rumors?
I heard from some travelers that something bad might have happened in Redcliffe, overrun by darkspawn, maybe. There's no word from the village at all.
Great.
A merchant friend of mine said he encountered someone fleeing the place and there was nothing waiting for him there but death. He wisely turned around and came right back. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Awesome. Haven't shown you his inventory, I don't think yet, since we've come back, but this is a lot of stuff from mods that are in here. It's the like Black Fox armor, I believe, and this is from the Phoenix Armory. There's that Reaper's Cudgel. I mean, look how much it would cost to buy it back. I mean, that's insane. It's good, but it's not that good. Yeah, there's the different armors and stuff from these. The Fox's Chain. The different Phoenix armor stuff. This is from a mod that gives me the option to actually create or buy my own stamina potions, which you already get in Awakening, but for some reason they didn't include it in Origins, which is, I don't know, weird, but I can get those if I need them. And there is that tome. I already bought one at the pseudo camp, and now this one is still available at the real camp, but I'm not going to buy it right this second, so... I am going to... Usually a thoughtful gift will do the job. Buy a couple. Okay. And there's the recipes for the stamina. And he also sells a bunch of deep mushroom now, which is nice because that's something you need for the elves to give them once you beat that quest. Lifestone, you will need the 4 of them, I believe, to create a very, very high power potion in Orzammar. So once I start just finding them, I usually just hold on to them. But I think that will do it. Let's see. Here, have a ring.
A fine gift. You have my thanks.
There, now she crossed over to warm. It's like I knew we had to have been close. Stands at warm. Okay. So let's give one of those to Liliana.
Why, thank you so much.
See, they act like they don't really care about them, but it gives you +10, which is nice. So see, we're really, really close with her. Probably like asking her to tell us a story or something will be enough to push her over the top. And then Zevron, another dialogue or two, maybe the gift, so. Hello.
Here
we go.
Have I ever told you I really like the way you wear your hair?
Really? It's very stubborn.
It's very nice, and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved flowers, ribbons, jewels. 1 year, Feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels.
I feel sorry for the birds.
Yes, I don't envy them. She never washed her hair. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you, like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me.
You've got to be careful here to watch out for the ninja mancing. Something like this could push it over, but this one's pretty fun.
You see? You play along with me. Not many will do that. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company.
Yes, yes, you are a treasured friend, Liliana. Friend.
Thank you. I am honored that you feel that way.
Yes, friend. Yep. Looks like that's it.
Something I can help with?
Yeah. I'd like to talk to you.
Yes? What's on your mind?
So this should get the dialogue that when we leave and come back to camp, the next time she will be like, sorry, I lied to you. Things like that.
Why did you hear this?
I don't remember.
Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers. But some of them are what we call bards.
I thought minstrels were bards.
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
What sort of services?
What do you think? They infiltrate, steal, sometimes assassinate? It depends on the bard. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
I thought as much. You're not some innocent sister.
I have revealed too much, it seems. But it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living like a cloistered sister in rural Ferelden?
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Okay. I think we're gonna leave that for now. Well, we have been talking to our camp members for quite some time, so I think we will just end the episode here, and then next time we will start headed towards Lake Calenhead, work on Sten's quest a bit, pick up some other side quests, and maybe start the Mage's Tower. So if you're enjoying the videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. It's very much appreciated. Thanks, guys.